What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Post Credits Podcast, a show where we are lucky enough to talk about movies with you. This is episode 47, recorded on September.
47. It's a lot.
It is.
It's a lot of episodes. Recorded on September 14th, 2025, to get posted to podcast services on Tuesday, September 16th, 2025. The usual spots: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Podbean, and YouTube. If you're listening to us on an audio-only version, feel free to come on over to YouTube. Come on over to YouTube. You can watch full episodes there or segments. Everything is time-coded out. We try to send out some interesting stuff. However you choose to enjoy our content, thank you. And for those of you who watched our clip of Bigfoot, we appreciate it. That's one of our most viewed things.
Thank you. If you came here today because you saw us talking about Bigfoot,
welcome.
Are you going to be disappointed?
Welcome. I am one of your hosts, Grayson Maxwell. Joining me, as they do every week, are my lovely co-hosts, Roger Stillian and Chris Bond. You're both lovely today. How do you guys feel that?
Yeah,
that's fine.
Sure.
I'm a little less lovely. I'm a little less bearded. So
I see that. Yeah.
It had to be done.
I can talk to you about that.
Nah,
had to be done.
What it is. Had to be
What's
done.
going on this week, fellas? How are you?
Yeah, somewhere in the middle, honestly.
I mean, that's fair, honestly.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah, about the same. It's been a week and computer issues for someone that I know, which is never fun to navigate. But I am the guy, so I did the things, and
And we did some things.
we did.
Me and you troubleshoot somebody else's PC.
Yeah, Roger helped out
at our studio.
Were you guys successful?
Yes.
We found out that the thing we were testing is working just fine.
Which
so
is-
Chris has to be the one to judge whether that's successful or not.
That is progress. That is progress. That's all that matters.
Hashtag progress. Yeah, baby.
Sure. Don't ever do that. Anyway.
I know. What else is going on? How are the fam jam? Chris, how many casts do you have right now?
0 cats still.
Oh.
I'm still feline free, my friend. So
It's
we're gonna keep it
interesting.
that way. However, I did see a little black kitten on the road when I was walking into the studio, and I was like, "Oh, that looks like a stray cat that I'm not gonna take home." And then I kept on walking.
Are you going to enjoy the bad luck you just incurred by not acknowledging it when you?
I didn't even think about that until you said that, so I don't think it affects me. I think you have to think about it when it happens for that.
No,
Are you thinking about it now, though?
That's not how bad luck works, man. That's bad luck comes to you regardless.
I firmly agree that 98% of my bad luck happened between the ages of 3 and 27 to me. No, 31 to me. No, 33 to me. So I think I'm good at this point.
You changed that. You moved that goalpost twice. I just a goalpost that you set, by the way. You could have just told us any other number and then had to change it twice.
Yeah, well, I had to think about other things.
Had to factor in like what's actually bad for
Apparently, I'm almost 37, so there's that too. So
time comes for us all, my friend. It's coming for you too. You will soon be in your 40s,
like
Roger
threat?
and me. Yes, it is. It's a threat that's going to happen.
Well, I mean, in your advanced age and wisdom, you would know. So I'll listen. Thanks.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Interesting.
Oh, Lord.
Interesting.
Lord. This is what you people come here for. That and Bigfoot stuff,
No,
apparently.
Bigfoot is
You
what
guys
they
love
come
your
for.
Bigfoot.
Somebody came here because of Bigfoot.
You can spell that any way you want to.
There,
So
yeah, right
it
there,
doesn't matter.
Bigfoot.
Still never got a definitive answer on the Bigfoot.
It's true.
Bigfoot, big feats. So last week, you remember when I said I could have sworn I saw a video that it was AI? Here's the thing.
into an AI video.
Here's
Like,
the thing. I haven't
dear
realized-
listener, I want you to understand. I am not surprised by this at all.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
because Grayson will drop stuff into our group chat
Grayson's
all the time. He is the AI gullible machine.
Grayson is the poster child of I was fooled by AI.
Like, look, like you're gonna have a hell of a time when you're old with Facebook.
Oh,
I'm
God.
telling you that
God.
right now. Like, all you have to do is send me a picture of like this angel saving somebody, and I'll be like, he's gone full old person.
I'm aware. But here's the thing: is when I'm scrolling down, when you get stuck in the right before you go to bed, we're like, oh, I'll spend 10 minutes scrolling the YouTube Shorts, and 4 hours later, like, oh, I should probably go to bed now. But I saw it. It's like I didn't investigate something I saw on a YouTube Short. Because I don't want to that means you got to get out of it and you had to type in like, is this legit? So I just didn't think anything of it. And then
get out of it. Like you swipe over to the other app, literally with your finger motion.
And so I didn't check it. I'm like, I swear I saw that video, but yeah, it's I don't know. After that I sought out some, like those KH studios, like they do like trailers with like, oh, here's Lord of the Rings 5 with Chris Pratt and whatever. And I watched some of those.
You're trying to
that'd be a good movie.
Look. Grayson loves Chris Pratt.
I do not. Thank you very
that'd be a
much.
good
The
movie.
superior Chris.
The post-credits podcast lore, I'm not a fan of Chris Pratt. It has nothing to do with the man. I just don't think he's...
We got big time Chris Pratt news this week, though.
That's true.
We got the trailer for Mario Galaxy.
Yep.
And like, look, dude.
Yep.
Dude.
Dude.
He's so happy.
Anything Chris Pratt touches, man, turns to gold.
He once asked him where the bathroom was. That's my interaction with Chris Pratt. I'm happy to say. But
did you tell him?
Of course I told him. But it's funny because like Roger, when on Mercy, when I was working on the show last year, we were all accounting was all in one room because no one ever gives a crap about accounting. Like, oh, they can just cram all in one room. So when he leans in and I was like looking at him like I had just been hit by like a deer in headlights. And I was like, oh, it's Chris Pratt. And then my boss is like, oh no, what's he gonna say? And Chris is like, hey, do you know where the restroom is? Like, oh, it's down the hall. Take a left and then a right. And then as soon as he left, my boss was like, he just needed to know where the bathroom was, right? Don't let this go to your head. I'm like, oh, of course. I didn't think he intentionally sought me out to ask where the bathroom was.
What if he did though?
He didn't.
What if he was like, I bet you that guy knows where to take a pee.
So does your vitriol for Chris Pratt come from the fact that
he politely asked you the restroom?
No, that's why I don't have vitriol for Chris Pratt. I just don't think he's a good enough actor to be cast in everything he's been cast in.
I mean, but you had a shot to tell him that as he asked you where the bathroom was. You'd be like, I think you're a shitty actor.
Somehow work that into the angle of telling where the bathroom was.
Yeah,
there's the short right there.
Yeah. Hey, the pisser's right down the hall, just like your career. You know what I mean? Like, bam, get him.
Boom.
Could have got him with
What's
the 1-2.
Up? I would have been gone the next day. I wouldn't know.
That was before. Mind you, that was almost a year before his $1 billion Mario movie.
Ooh.
No. That was in
23.
Mario was
24.
Mario was 2023. I worked on Mercy 2024.
I thought Mario was 24.
Either way, no, that's 23.
Okay,
but either way,
just after his $1 billion movie.
Even worse.
I mean, he's got so much stuff on the dock. I can't even. I don't know what people see in this guy, but
Jesus,
that's why I'm not a producer.
Like, look,
if you
that's
come
why
on the
he's
show,
not ever going to talk to you again.
Maybe you're probably
Shit
right.
Like that.
Chris Pratt,
even if he has to use the bathroom.
If Chris Pratt wants to come on the show, I will kick Grayson off.
Okay, I'll accept
that episode.
I will accept that. I will step aside for Chris Pratt. I'll say.
Just imagine how much it would kill Grayson if I was sitting here actually interviewing Chris Pratt and Grayson just has to stare at me from across the room and not say anything.
Let Chris Pratt host the show, even. It would
my Lord
be our best episode. Which
all
would
right.
also be painful.
Okay, we're moving on. What else
I
is
bet
going on?
he knows Andrew Garfield.
Oh my Lord!
They gotta be boys, right?
I don't know about boys.
Yeah,
but they know each other.
Fair.
All right, you guys are some silly bananas indeed. Let's go on. Anything else we want to talk about before we start? Is this show?
Nope.
All right, let's start a show then. Once again, folks, this is episode 47 of Post Credits Podcast, a show where we are lucky enough to talk about movies with you. Let's start. Let's take a look at some box office numbers. So, Chris,
I've been told that they're big, and I wasn't allowed to look at them. Is that correct?
One of them is big. One of them is kind of big.
Same thing to me when I was younger.
So, boy, there's a joke that resonates today. I'll tell you what. So, number one, and is kind of a surprise, I think some people, Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, Infinity Castle. I said that wrong. I'm sorry, Chris. How should I say that?
Nope, I'm not gonna do that on screen.
All right,
you're good.
Let's so you guys know what the domestic number for that is?
Nope,
I do not. I know
it came in at like 250 to start.
Yeah,
70 million for a domestic, which gives it a worldwide gross of 352.
Very nice.
Holy
Good
crap.
job for them.
Off to a great start.
70.
As a little thing of little note, Friday we're gonna post an episode on the YouTube, so only on the video form. Chris and I are gonna talk about it. We've both seen it. We're gonna gather our thoughts. We're gonna have a 30 to 45 minute episode for you on Friday for that. So look forward to that.
I would like to note that I am not against Demon Slayer. I have just never consumed any Demon Slayer media, so I would not be right to be on that.
That's fine.
Fair.
I'm not above it. Maybe I will someday.
I saw it in IMAX, which was spectacular to look at, all the colors and everything going on. Awesome. Although I'll reveal to you in that video why I think for someone like me who's not had much exposure to something like that may have been a mistake. But I'll get into that on Friday.
Yeah.
It's an interesting idea, though, and I totally see where you're coming from,
Yeah.
because he previewed that for us before we started today. So.
Yeah.
Number 2, Conjuring Last Rites, another decent weekend, 26.1 for a worldwide of 332.
It's a good
Also,
number, man.
very good number. I'm happy for them.
Good for them.
Downton Abbey, the grand finale, has a domestic box office of 18.1, a worldwide of 30. So not an awful start, but that's the number's a bit soft. What I thought it might have been able to hit at least 20 domestically, but did not.
I'm just right, left, and right this week. It's fine.
I can't hear you over your ego.
Oh yeah, it's fine. Listen, if that's the problem, I'm okay with it.
The Long Walk, number 4, the movie of the week for us this week, but number 4, 11.5 million for 11.5 worldwide. We're getting into that one in just a little while. Bear with us. Number 5, Roger, you'll be happy with this. Toy Story came in number 5, $3.5 million.
Nice.
For
Toy Story re-release.
Yeah, I did.
That's crazy.
I got a re-release number of 5.2 worldwide for the re-release so far. So that's doing really well.
Original Toy Story is still a very good movie.
Oh, it still holds up. It doesn't look great, but it's the story.
What's the best Toy Story?
I was like, I know Roger's going to ask this. I would say the first one or the third one.
I think it's the third one.
Which one is the third one? That's the one with Sunnyside, right?
The one where they're all in the machine, they're all going to die.
Yeah,
together.
it looks like they're going to die together by the claw, and the claw saves them.
That's probably in my opinion, that's probably the best Toy Story. Toy Story 2 isn't it for sure.
It's got 1 or 3, and I may go check out Toy Story this week.
What about 4?
4, I think 4 is okay, but I wouldn't consider it the best.
No,
Toy Story felt like a movie that they're just like, hey, we can still do this, and somebody's like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It's still very much Toy Story, though. It's not like it degrades.
The thing with Toy Story 4 is 3 had tied it up so perfectly.
Pretty well.
With Andy going off to college and passing on the toy to the new, like it was such a perfect little Pixar bow. Mm-hmm. And then it just like, oh, here's a 4th movie. It's like, oh man, like what are you gonna do with it?
It's also like Andy didn't realize you just take your toys with you to college.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's right.
I have a bunch of my old toys just displayed around my house.
Yeah,
legitimately.
Indeed. Number 6, Weapons. Number 7, Hamilton. Number 8, Freakier Friday. Number 9, its debut coming in number 9, Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues. And The Sound of Music, 60th anniversary, outdid it did better than Caught Stealing on its 3rd week. Let me just bring that home for you. Yeah, that's not great. Yeah, you know what? This week I also missed. There was a couple of. I need to check the app more often because the AMC I go to at Century City has quite a few of these, like the Q&A, and the movie that Jay Duplass was, apparently he was there, and he was, not only did he do a Q&A, but after he left the thing, he actually sat down with people in the AMC lobby and had a few drinks, like, to talk.
Hell yeah.
To
Oh heck yeah.
like I missed that. Like
that dude's awesome, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I like him a lot. I need to check my app more often, but that does happen quite a bit out here. So, yeah. But I'm surprised.
You him he's a shitty actor.
No, he's better than Chris Pratt. That's for sure.
Whoa, hold on.
I know, it's a joke. Not really, but a joke. 50 joke. I don't know. All right. Let's move on a little bit. Let's talk about a movie recommendation that I hear your chuckles over there.
You should.
Let's talk about a movie recommendation by Roger this week. Roger, what are we talking about?
So we're talking about The Long Walk this week. It's a Stephen King book / movie that is depressing and about walking. Yeah. Which makes sense. So the movie I chose is about walking and depression, and it's way more hardcore than The Long Walk, which is saying something because The Long Walk is pretty hardcore. So I have chosen The Road, which is based off the Cormac McCarthy book. It's a 2009 starring Viggo, and so here's the thing. I think this movie is excellent. Okay, it is not fun. It is not something you want to talk about later. It is just one of those movies when you watch it, you're just like, damn, that is something. And you would think when I say like that means it's a bad movie. It is not bad. It's just really hard to watch and really depressing. And it's a father and a son. It is set in like a post-apocalyptic America, and they're trying to get and they're traveling.
They're trying
And
to get to the sea, right? Isn't that
Yep,
it?
they're trying to get to the sea, and it's about what they go through. And it's not an overly long movie, but it is very, very tumultuous and violent and graphic and sad, incredibly sad. And if you watch that movie and you tell me, I see why you recommended it and I don't ever want to talk about it again, I'd be like, fair.
Yeah.
Like I would not ever tell you that you're wrong, and you need to have a deep dive discussion into why The Road is what it is. Read the book, watch the movie, you understand exactly what I mean. But that's my movie recommendation. So have you guys, I know Grayson, you've seen it. Chris, have you ever seen it?
Yes.
Okay. Thoughts?
Fun
Family film?
Pretty spot on with your description.
Buddy cop movie.
So after,
father and son yucking it up across the landscape.
after the Lord of the Rings trilogy, some of my family members went on a Vigo kick.
Sure.
So we watched basically anything that he was in or was coming up in after that for a little while. So that's where we saw that, and that was an awkward family movie night. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Did you guys also watch Hidalgo?
Yeah.
Everybody likes Hidalgo.
Yeah, Hidalgo's fine.
I like Hidalgo a lot. It's that's a very Vigo movie too.
I saw it in theaters with my family that wanted to go see it. That wasn't not my movie, my kind of movie then. Maybe a little more now, but like it was fine. You know what I mean?
Who doesn't love a good horse?
Horses scare me.
Horses are very powerful.
We'll have to dig into that sometime.
They're just they are just beasts of creatures. You know what I mean? Like they could murder you.
They can kill you if they want to.
100%.
For sure.
So, yeah.
I'm gonna start taking so now we add hot dog hate. Now we add Chris is scared of horses. We're gonna come up with a whole list of things Chris really just doesn't like.
Yeah, so like my nightmare is just a horse with hot dog legs. You know what I'm saying? Like like just
a horse presented me a hot dog in my dream, and I didn't know how I felt about it. Hello, Christopher. I brought you this delicious meat treat.
I don't like the word meat treat in that sense.
Too bad. That's how the horse described it.
This is why you people come here. I tell you what. Not to
I
short
grilled you this delicious Frankfurter.
Not to short sell what you were saying, Roger. However, listen to this cast, and if you haven't seen this movie or seen it in a while,
check it out.
Viggo Mortensen, Charlize Theron, Robert Duvall, Cody Smith McPhee, Guy Pearce, Michael Kenneth Williams. And there's a couple others. That's a damn good cast. I always forget Charlize Theron's in that movie.
I was gonna say I forgot she was in it.
Yeah, I always forget, but hell of a movie that is. And it's like I always view that movie like I view Mudbound on Netflix. I'll give Netflix props. Mudbound is an exceptional movie set in the Depression.
10 out of 10. Saddest shit in the world, dude.
You can't watch it more than once every couple of years. It would just.
Did you ever watch that one?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think I remember something about. I think I remember somewhere because I did so much because The Last of Us was one of those games when it came out. It's just I was obsessed and the world was obsessed, and it really did a lot for the PlayStation franchise as a whole. And I think I watched a lot of interviews with them, the creators of that one, and I think this one, The Road, was mentioned quite a few times. I guess in a way like it's very similar, and they loved it. So if you're going to create something in a vein that you love something in, and it have similarities, and that's fine, I think. But
yeah,
what a movie The Road is. What a movie.
Yeah, you want to go down a rabbit hole, read a couple of Cormac McCarthy's novels, read The Road, read Blood Meridian, and you'll see why he's who he is. So
I don't even think
you might not have fun. You might not have fun, but I don't think
The Road isn't even that long of a book.
No, it's not that long of a movie either.
No, well, it's under 2. It's hour and 51. It says on IMDb, so it's not terribly long. But that's hell of a movie. It was right in that area too, where we got a lot of those. We got the Book of Eli in that same area. We got a couple other ones, and like the very post-apocalyptic stuff.
There's a movie I ain't thought about in forever. Book of Eli.
I love the Book of Eli. I think that movie's brilliant.
I do like me some Book of Eli.
Hell yes. Well, good recommendation, Roger. Excellent.
Thank you.
Very adjacent to what we're
That
talking
will
about
not
today.
win a tournament.
He never tells me good recommendation. What the
Yes,
hell?
I
Think
do.
about it.
It may win a tournament.
Oh,
I mean, if it's going to be
sad.
up against whatever Disney movie it's up against, you're going to pick that.
It would win against Ghost Ship.
I don't.
mean, yeah.
I don't know, man. Ghost Ship's niche.
My lord. All right. Let's get into the meat of the show. I promised I would do a few minutes on Downton Abbey, the grand
Sure.
finale.
up.
I'm going to do a few minutes on this.
I feel bad that I didn't watch Downton Abbey though, because I have seen the other two movies.
Yeah. So
bear with me, gentlemen.
So I want to quote my wife real quick, just on that note. She said, I asked her if she cared about seeing the Downton Abbey movie, and she said, "I've seen every episode of that show. I've seen every episode of that show all the way through. I love that show. It is such a good show. I don't give a shit about these movies."
Wait, really? I find that not that anything against your wife. I just find that hard to believe that because all the movies are just extended episodes.
It's been too long, is what she said.
I mean, look, I get that. That's
well, I
just out of
mean,
it.
the one thing, and I'm sorry, I mean, because I know you're about to go into this particular, but the one thing about the second movie is the second movie kind of closed every like open storyline that was still hanging on, right?
It did.
If I remember correctly. And I mean,
it even
killed off the
ended,
Maggie Smith character. Yeah.
It even ended with her passing, and then after everyone left the center halls, like it slowly pans up to the picture of Maggie Smith, like still, even though she's gone, she's still the lady of the manor, and still like looking over her people. Yeah. That was a beautiful. But again, it's like Pixar. Like you tied that little bow on Toy Story 3, and we got another one. But the second one did so much money, I'm sure they couldn't ignore it. I don't think these things are that expensive to make either. So I mean, there's always that too. Is like you gotta the cost basis versus the profit. Like if it makes enough, you might as well get another one. And there's always a built-in audience for these. So I mean, it's
everyone over the age of 72.
The olds. Yeah.
Dang, you went there.
I said something that's not really a thing. Okay, let's talk about for 1 second Downton Abbey, the grand finale, and let's just the first it does pick up after the second film, which was A New Era, but the first film, Downton Abbey, was in 2019, I do believe, and it was Mr. Carson was coming back to Downton Abbey, and the king and queen were coming to visit, and it dealt with the human drama of that. And why I like the Downton films, especially in an era where every movie that we see a trailer for has gunfights and car chases and a lot of Marvel stuff. And that's not knock on Marvel. It's just a byproduct of what the success of Marvel has brought. Stuff like, superhero adjacent stuff like that it's just so much of the stuff we watch these days and theatrically and streaming is like that. And it's nice to see something that has none of that. It's just written lines, people performing them on the screen for you to watch, and human drama play out in front of your eyes. One of the benefits to something like Downton Abbey is, of course, the decadence of an era that's so far gone out of almost human memory because we just evolved so far past it. Is you got the lavish sets, you got the lavish outfits, both on the men and the women, and everyone's very pretty, and everyone's looking at the most dapper they can, and they're talking in the most proper English, and it's great. I am attracted to that kind of thing because it's something that I don't think we get very often. So it takes that different kind of switch for me in my head, and I really like that. In the second Downton Abbey, A New Era, the new world has come to Downton with a film director wanting to make a movie at Downton Abbey called The Gambler with Guy Dexter and Myrna.
Guy Fieri?
No. And they, halfway through the human drama, of course, once again, the husband of Michelle Dockery character has not returned again. He's out doing his thing with cars and gambling and living that fast, adventurous life. Still doesn't come back. There's an intimacy that, like a connection with her character, who's very important because she is now the new lady of the house. It's been passed down to her by the Maggie Smith character, who knows she doesn't have a long time, and so she's become like the lady of Downton. It's her responsibility, and her and the film director kind of flirt, and it's their film director is making a movie, a silent movie with Dominic West, and then halfway through the film it turns into a talkie, and then they have to figure out how to adapt that, and it's all very gripping and compelling drama when you're watching it. At least for me, I'm kind of riveted by it. It's with all the servants and an era that I don't think America ever really truly experienced. That's what I think is so fantastic with that. Is like it's an era that this country just never we never did that in the way that the British did it. Maybe in a worse way, but not the same way. But that's what's so interesting to me is there's the divide in the house is the servant staff and then the staff, the people that belong on the upstairs and how they commingle, and some of them are seeing each other and romance, and it's all just very interesting to me. And then the third film, we just got the grand finale, is it does thankfully tie a nice little bow.
Another bow?
There's two
Another
bows?
there's third bow because the first one tied one, the second one tied one, the third one tied one.
So which one is like the bow that they put on the cars during the Christmas commercials?
I mean, one of these is the bow to rule them all. So
Ooh,
I mean, this one, I think
it's British. Very British.
I think Downton Abbey, the grand finale, is really the finale. It's in the title, so I think it kind of has to be.
Did the Abbey burn down?
No. The Abbey's still there.
And it's still there.
It's funny. So written, of course, by Julian Fellows, who has been a mainstay as writing through the whole thing.
Mhm.
And then I saw Simon Curtis, and I got really excited. And I was like, oh, Con Air. Like, no, that's Simon West. So not the same Simon.
You think
Simon
Cyrus
Curtis.
is going to come in?
Cameron Poe just drops through the ceiling, trying to whip some ass.
I told you, don't touch the bunny.
Have you
Yeah,
seen a bunny?
Don't touch the bunny.
I got really excited. It has all the usual players, of course. Michelle Dockery, Hugh Bonneville, Dominic West, Jolie Richards,
John Malkovich, Nicolas Cage, Ving Rhames.
Yeah, all them as well. Yeah, it's got
Buscemi.
Chevy's crazy.
Who's not in that movie? Who's the main? Who's the main? Who's Mr.
Focus, Grayson. It's our fault.
John
Focus.
Cusack.
Yeah, John Cusack. Yeah, of course. John C. McGaney. Yeah. This one has Downey kind of entering a new era. It's the Depression has come, and all the money has been lost by a family. Paul Giamatti's character comes back. Dominic West comes back, which I think is a great choice. He's got a great voice, that guy. He's got a good physical appearance on screen. He's living a life with one of the staff that he kind of made a connection with in the second film. That's very like apropos in that time. It's just you just don't talk about it, you don't look at it, nothing. So they're living that life kind of in secret. And this one, of course, 2025 does tie a bow on everything, and it starts with all the usual players are back. And only the one thing is there's a divorce. Michelle Dockery's character of Lady Mary Talbot is going through a divorce, which in those days in that community is an absolute no-no. She is scorned by the community. She is removed from the various boards she is on, from the various charities she's part of. She's been removed from all of this. There's a scandal involving that, which is hugely a problem for that family. She gets involved in the beginning with a Yank, as they keep calling him, Alessandro Navala, who plays Gus Sambrook, who is there to help her mother, which is Elizabeth McGovern, Lady Grantham, and Paul Giamatti's her brother. They're both from America, and they've lost all their mother's money, and Hal Sambrook is there to help get it back. But the twist is he's kind of involved in why it's gone, and there's another scandal, and the family kind of comes together to make sure that doesn't happen to the rest of whatever's left. And it's a good time. Here's the thing. Let me ask you guys, since you guys didn't watch it, why would you think people would go to watch Downton Abbey? Let me just ask you that.
Serious answer is because
serious
a lot of people are infatuated with that kind of like era.
Love for the era, and I think it's just a different kind of consumption, right?
Culture, well, different. Yeah.
Well, I mean, just like that kind of movie, like Greg's pointed out at the beginning, like talking about like all the things that we see now, like in movie trailers. It's just there's not a lot like it, where it's just you're watching a more tame, dramatic story unfold, right?
Sure.
And it's the drama between the people that
it's a fancy soap opera.
Yeah. I mean, that's actually fair, and like not saying that as a slight. That's actually probably it's the thing that makes it stand out and is unique is that it is that kind of that kind of viewing experience.
Oh, that's part of why I go is it's I like to see that kind of stuff even for a 2-hour time period. I like to see it.
I know one thing too with from the American audience is there is just something unique about British film and like British television that is like some people are just enamored with in the United States, whether it's something like Downton Abbey or some of their like crime series and stuff like that.
I mean, America is what made James Bond huge. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, that's true. That's a
Sure.
very British thing, but
Absolutely. Because I mean, here's the thing: like, I enjoy a lot of British television, like, because usually it's higher quality than a lot of the stuff we get sometimes.
That's actually a good point. Yeah.
I mean, it really
Well,
it's an honest truth.
I mean, for a little bit there, I was glued to a couple BBC shows, and Merlin was I absolutely became infatuated with that show when it was current, and like
the Cumberbatch Sherlock.
Oh yeah,
fucking incredible television.
I haven't seen that. My wife watched it, and she sings all of its praises.
Incredible
and for good reason, I bet.
TV show.
Yeah,
it's really good. And but Merlin's also great in a really kind of underrated kind of way. It doesn't. You don't go there expecting high production value Dragonheart. You go expecting you get what you expect with Merlin, especially with Sam Neill. Yeah,
I described it to somebody in my family one time because my family is full of medieval fantasy nerds.
Sure, yeah,
and I described it as it's the medieval fantasy version of Charmed. You know what I mean? Like that's
interesting.
That's what
I can see where that would appeal to a lot of people.
It's like that kind of television. Yeah. And it's like it's
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Angel, it's just, but it's the King Arthur.
But
story.
It's funny that we compare it to something like that, and you think it's like a joke, but those shows. Have giant followings.
Those shows were wildly successful.
Wildly successful shows launched careers into stratospheres and are still recognized today. I mean, like, look, when was the last episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer? It's got to be like 20 plus years ago, right?
Decades, right?
And we're still talking about it today.
Fair. Yep.
I mean, Sarah Michelle Gellar owes
in a conversation about Downton Abbey.
I'd be willing to bet that Rose McGowan wouldn't have quite the stardom she does without Charmed. You know what I mean? It's just that's where she kind of settled into Hollywood.
Absolutely. So. A lot of those shows, though, like the Charmed Date adjacent shows, like what's that show that everyone with those two guys, Jared Padalecki, and there's another one.
So you're talking about Supernatural.
Yeah,
the same thing. I mean, insanely popular. It's on syndication. It just
got like
they
26 seasons,
26 seasons or some shit. Yeah.
Like I saw something that Jared Padalecki said he makes enough off of syndication to live to never have to work another day in his life, and that's syndication.
No one on that show has to.
Was it him and Jensen Ackles? Is the other?
Yeah.
guy?
Yes, Ackles. That's it. Yeah. It's only in my mind because I just watched.
Who's now Soldier Boy and
and the boys
and the boys.
I just watched my
wildly different character than what you're used to.
So, bringing it back to Downton Abbey for a second. So the first one in 2019, the worldwide take was 194.
That's a good number.
A pretty solid number for what I'm sure didn't cost that nearly as much to make. A New Era, which was 3 years later, and half 92. And so far. Grand finale is just at 30. So the rule of diminishing returns has...
I see we're having things. Yeah. So when this tops out at like 45, I'll be like, well...
Someone on this podcast said that no one gives a crap about Downton Abbey anymore. And
so hold on.
I was wrong by about 30 million.
I want to make a statement, though.
Yeah.
Is you went to see Long Walk first thing Friday morning.
Yep.
What did you immediately text me and Grayson?
That it smells like Bengay in here.
Why?
Because there were a lot of people there to see Downton Abbey.
Well, fine. But it still did better than Long Walk.
By like what, 2 million? Like 2 million?
Like 8 million. 7.5 million?
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
Which is, I mean, like below the 20 mark, no one cares.
11.
Yeah. But like, like in all seriousness, not taking nothing away from Downton Abbey or its crowd. It's I'm glad that a movie was made and some people gave a shit to go out and see it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
They cared enough and were excited enough to go to the theaters. Like, especially like if you think about like the demographic that's going to see Downton Abbey, they probably don't go and see very many movies. So it's a big deal when a certain like crowd of people will go see a film. That matters to them, which that's exciting. That's a good thing.
and they watch it more than once. That's the thing with like
that's probably fair.
This
Yeah.
crowd of the demographic, the older people that tend to watch this, they tend to watch it 2 or 3 times.
Well, and it's
it'll be
also the movie that
streamed.
they'll watch through the work week.
Yeah.
Like the same crowd that was there on Friday will be the same crowd that's there on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Which here's the thing, that's a big deal to movie theaters because like this time of year, from working in a movie theater for as long as I have, and Grayson can attest to this, is you get some really long, boring days in a movie theater because nobody comes there.
Yeah.
Because like this is like the worst movie time of the year, and everybody's back in school, everybody's at work. Friday nights aren't even big, especially in our area, because there's sporting events happening at all times.
Mm-hmm.
Heaven forbid you have to go up against a college football game on a Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
So
I walked into our local theater, and it was like the parking lot was packed at like early in the day on Friday.
Mhm.
So I walked up to the counter. I was like, you guys are busy, and that poor kid looked up at me and went, oh, Downton Abbey destroyed us. Like he said, we weren't ready for that. I was like, gee.
Well, that's they should have. They should
had
have
on a swivel, kid.
Well, I mean, like it's
should have prepared.
It's been
but you can know you can know what's going to be due by what's not.
But here's the thing: if it's been 3 years since the last one, if they haven't,
that whole staff is rolled over.
Yeah, that
from
staff
the
isn't the same.
Too.
Movie theater staff doesn't exactly hang out, as long as as like other,
No, the management does, but the workers generally do not.
Those kids probably had no idea what was about to happen to them. In the area we live in, that's it's going to be amplified because we have an older average age in our demographic.
Especially in an area like Steubenville too, which is like I'm sure like destroyed those auditoriums.
Yeah, so it was funny just to like the defeat in his voice. It was like he said we weren't ready. It's just like, God dang, the Abbey destroys all.
No, it happens.
Yeah,
it happens. I think your wife might be onto something. I think the distance away from the show might be because the show aired in 2010. I think it was over in 2015 ish, and then the first movie was 2019, 2022, and 2025. So maybe there is that kind of disassociation with it. I mean, I've watched up until this week. Before this week, I watched the other two. I watched the series and the other 2 films.
Well,
and
I mean,
like for me, there was like no time lost. I loved it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like think about it. Like you said, like if it starts in 2010, the show ends in 2015. The third movie and final movie came out in 2025.
10 years
then
after the
double
movie
the
ends.
amount of time the show was on is how long it took for the third film to come out. That's a big gap in like in what your viewership is going to like be able to retain.
Well, and the other question that I'll ask, and I mean this because I don't know the answer, is who was clamoring for another Downton Abbey film?
Well, no. Well, I'm sure the profit from them. Yeah, the studio.
yeah.
Because each one, I've noticed the first one tied it up. The second one, like, tied it up. We didn't need the other movies to explain.
Yeah, like they could have just been done.
Done, yeah.
Of course, yeah. It's just a bonus because, like, especially in the second one, 2 of the people get married that you were kind of hoping would, and the third one, some people have had kids that you were hoping. Like, it's a nice little touch to the characters here, and there's so much to talk about with the family, the Crawleys, and it's just I don't want to get bogged down in that, but there's so much with the drama of the interconnections between the people and the serving staff and the people who pass away. And
I just looked, so it makes sense because if the first one you said made 190,
196 or something,
yeah, the second one made about 90, and the third one has already made 30.
Yeah,
well, the third movie's budget is purported to be 13 million.
Well, yeah, so there you go.
There's almost no risk to making it.
No, like, it's already cleared.
Yeah. I mean, the first movie made enough to make 9 of these.
Yeah.
True. With the profit. Yeah, of course. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, that's the thing is, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we got another one. It has to be soon, though. A lot of those people are aging. And like what we always talk about is a certain property, the property without, the act, like without the main faces is, you don't know. Maggie Smith has passed, and she was a huge draw to Downton Abbey for a lot of people.
She's the example. She's like a good example of perfect casting for
sure.
Like
yeah,
that
of course.
Yeah.
So a couple of those people really are, though, especially like I think Paul Giamatti's character as like kind of the American who had the wool pulled over his eyes is kind of, especially the way that like British TV or like British look at Americans as we're all
Mhm.
idiots.
Mm.
It kind of is that way, and I have some personal experience
Fair.
with that.
Hey, I've been on the internet. They're not wrong.
No, they're not at all.
I mean, not all the time. It's-
I'd be interested to see what you guys thought about. Not that you ever watch it, but Chris, if your wife ever if you guys are ever your wife's like, you know what, it's on Netflix. Can we watch this? I'd be interested to hear
Yeah, that's fair.
your 10-second response to the third Downton Abbey film.
Yeah.
I'd be very curious.
I got you.
You as well, Roger. Roger, is your wife a fan of these?
no.
Okay, fair. I mean, it's just
I'll
one of
make
the-
you a
one
deal.
thing.
How about I watch The Gentleman again? And we'll call that I watched Downton Abbey.
Fair. Okay. I mean, fair. Imagine
I'll even watch the Netflix episodic version of The Gentleman. Does that sound fair?
Imagine if Guy Ritchie directed a Downton Abbey film.
No, he did. It's called The Gentleman.
There's a fair bit of what'd you say? There's a fair bit of fuckery afoot. That's my
Yeah, I mean,
favorite line.
Michelle Dockery's in that movie.
Yeah, it works.
She kicked some serious ass too. So
Shot that guy in the dry eye. Shot him right in the face.
She's not even mad about it either. But
No.
if you're on the fence of Downton Abbey and you like the other ones, this is an example of you really have nothing to lose by watching the third one. It's just
If you're
of
a fan and you enjoy
Abbey.
it, probably a safe
You
bet.
probably
You
like it,
probably
sure.
get your money's worth out of it.
I mean,
I'm-
that should be exactly what they want, though, right? Like, we're
It
not.
is.
They have to look at it and be like, guys, we're not bringing in a lot more new audience now. So, like,
Yeah.
got to give
just-
the people what they want here.
Just for reference, the third movie, the Rotten Tomatoes, the tomato meter is sitting at 91, and the popcorn meter is at 96.
Sure.
Yep. Sounds about right for that crowd.
And the Metacritic, is sitting at a 66, which is such lower than
Fine.
what we got. But
I mean, 60 something is
It's fine.
hallmark for a good film. You know what I mean? So that makes sense to me.
I mean, just remember, you get above 75, you're in rarefied air. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Indeed.
that's totally fine. I'm
Let's-
glad you liked it, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching it for us because we had a
Well,
we had a
I
choice to make.
generally enjoy those. Those are fun. And I don't like to be. I went into I would have been very surprised if The Long Walk made more money than Downton Abbey. Downton Abbey didn't exactly smash The Long Walk like I thought it was going to do. I was only judging from the opening weekend of the first two films, which were much larger than 18 million. So I was like, oh, it's going to smash The Long Walk. It didn't really smash The Long Walk, but I expected a higher number than 18, I will say, which I'm a little disappointed. Maybe some of the audience has literally just died off. Like I was,
Jesus.
well, no,
Jesus.
I saw an
Much
article.
like Maggie Smith in the ground.
Oh my God.
Please note, I did not say the second part of that. That was Roger.
It was Grayson.
In,
Go to
yeah,
commercial. Go to commercial.
yes, indeed. Well, I mean, I just wonder because you're right, Chris. A fair number of years have passed, and that's what made that show so popular. Is maybe they were contracted for 3, and so they had to do 3.
Maybe.
I don't
Oh,
know,
yeah,
but
that's
I mean-
possible too. It just took them. It took them way too long to do these 3 movies. Then
Well, I mean, schedules with when you're working with 25 actors, the schedules are really a bitch to line up sometimes.
don't sign contracts for 3 movies. Then I don't know. That's weird.
Well, they don't care about it. I mean, they're going to get their money regardless. They're
I
gonna
mean,
get
the
it.
studio maybe don't tie people into that if you've got to come through with it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that Downton
I'll
Abbey
never
was.
feel bad when a studio loses money.
Well, I mean, I do. It means less longer that we're going to do this. I can't. I mean, that studios are going to have a
Yeah.
presence in movie theaters, so I definitely don't want that. But I mean, how? One last thing, you guys. So, how would you measure the success of the show? I remember the show being. I don't quite. Remember,
Gigantic.
I don't remember the show being like Game of Thrones numbers, but it was certainly
here's
up
the thing.
there.
It was really, really big.
Okay.
I mean, it was a cultural phenomenon for a long time, like during its run. Like
Oh,
it was
yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
just consistently talked about. It was viewed by by men and women alike,
Yep.
begrudgingly by men at first. I bet a lot of times that turned into they're the ones getting the popcorn ready and asking their wife when they're going to watch their show. You know,
It's
what I mean?
easy to get into.
Yeah,
Honestly, it's easy to digest. It's not overly complicated. And
I've seen a season of Downton Abbey. I didn't hate my time there. You know what I mean? Like it's
honestly, that's a win though.
Yeah.
Because you have no expectation. I should like this.
Yeah.
So I just did a quick Google search. All 3 Downton Abbey films were made for $40 million, and they grossed,
Total?
as of right now, $490 million.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah,
Yeah.
they 10x they funded enough of these with the first one. Like it's
Yeah.
it's a no
Good
brainer
for
for
them.
them. I get it, and people get to watch something that they like. Cool, it's a win-win all
Yeah.
around for most people.
I would agree. That's I'm glad I got to see them off in a way that made me smile. Made me happy to further watch those characters mature and to get.
Did you
further
cry
down
at
the
Downton
line.
Abbey?
There was a point where I wanted to. I didn't.
Okay.
I was also the youngest one in the theater by like 10 years at
Oh,
least.
yeah, no, I get you.
I was surprised. I always try to look at that demographic just to see what I'm, kind of what I'm up against is. But I was easily the youngest one. It was a Saturday morning at 9 a.m. showing too.
There's no smell quite more unique than the mixture of buttered popcorn and Bengay. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just not natural.
That's a Chris quote.
It's quite a musk.
Yeah.
Indeed. I'm glad I got to watch that. I'm gonna get another one of those next week with a big, bold, beautiful journey. I'm sure it's gonna be a lot of the same kind of stuff.
So wait, there was no Downton Abbey popcorn bucket for you to get?
Wait,
There was not a Downton Abbey popcorn bucket. I was surprised.
Just
like
the Abbey.
looks like the building. You know?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't look. Well, I mean, if there is one, AMC didn't have it. A lot of they kind of alternate what movies they do them for. At least AMC didn't have one, but yeah, they did have one for Toy Story though, and they had a lot of cups. And I'm surprised they went for Toy Story, but not Downton Abbey. Toy Story is kind of old news, but
Holy shit, there is a bucket.
There's a bucket.
oh, was it AMC?
Hang on. Oh, that looks red.
It's a tin.
What?
It's not a-
what
It
theater
looks,
chain,
like
guys?
it looks like a tin.
I don't know. Hang on.
Downton Abbey, the grand finale popcorn.
Somewhere in Canada had this.
Aw.
Well, that's not us.
Oh, thanks. I'm glad you clarified.
Yeah, I
For a
mean,
minute-
they just.
For a
I
minute there
don't
was-
see that. Yeah, they didn't have one.
No, but here's the thing: if that's real and it looks real,
Yeah.
that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
What
It
is it? I
looks-
don't even see
it
what it
looks-
is.
It looks sophisticated.
It looks like it's a tin with like a lid. Looks like one of those old school popcorn tins
Yeah.
you could buy, like full of like flavored popcorn.
Yeah, like it has
except
the
it's
divider
like,
in it.
it's like diamond shaped. Yeah, that's
Is
not
it,
half
is it
bad.
blue? Is it blue?
Yes.
Yeah, blue and
I've seen
blue
that.
and gold.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think that was AMC though. That's not really AMC style.
I mean, that's fine.
I just think it's cool. I like all things Downton Abbey. I wish I could dress like them every day. Wear a tux down to
Hey,
the
buddy.
ballroom
Hey,
for dinner.
I worked with a guy when I worked at GameStop, and he dressed in a suit every single day.
Hey, you can
Nah.
do it.
No, we've moved past.
I want you to be here next week on this show in full tuxedo.
What if I wear one of those shirts that has like a tux on it? Like the
That's
tack-
not
Now, listen, I'll
nearly
give
as-
you half credit for that.
half credit. That's quarter
What
credit.
what credit for what?
Quarter-
What am I being graded on? What if I don't? I get 0 credit, and that doesn't fucking matter, does it?
No,
Jesus. All right, fine.
Mhm.
Go to the next
You-
movie. We'll add
you
to it.
won't get anything either, though.
Well, what am I missing then? What am I going to get?
Oh,
Oh,
I
no.
can't tell you that.
All right, gentlemen, thank you for.
When you're replaced by Chris Pratt, you'll know why.
Andy G.
On that note, Chris Pratt, if you want to come on the show and take my spot, you're more than welcome.
But
let's
You do
move
not
on.
have to wear a tuxedo, Chris. I'm just saying.
But I
He would,
do.
though. He's a classy guy.
Oh
yeah,
my
you
lord.
do.
Jeez Louise. All right. Thank you for indulging me while I talk about Downton Abbey. A better time, in my opinion. Let's talk about the movie of the week, which is a Stephen King adaptation. Let's talk about The Long Walk. They're walking and it's long.
I walk
You-
a long way.
Do you guys know what the tomato meter is for this?
No, I have not.
I do
looked.
not. I didn't look.
90, and the popcorn meter is 85. It seems like lately everything's been super high, which I don't agree with. But
90 from the critics, 85 from the audience. I can see the
Correct.
audience's score.
What's the
being-
meta?
the Metacritic is sitting at a 71, a full 5 points higher than
Ooh.
Downton Abbey. I thought Downton Abbey was a better movie, but
71's pretty
Interesting.
high.
anything above 70 is a must-watch as far as I'm concerned. So yes,
You wouldn't see this as a must-watch, is what you're saying?
No, anything above 70 is a must-watch.
Yeah,
This is
yeah, I'm
71. So
Yeah, but I'm asking you: do you feel like this movie is a must-watch, personally, Grayson?
Yes, I do. This movie to me is a must-watch over other things that also came out this week that we didn't talk
Okay.
about, not yet
Gotcha.
anyway. But
Gotcha.
I just, I'm trying to get rid of that mindset. And so
Okay.
I'm trying to discard that. But as far as like emotion, I've seen them both, and I'm talking about the Demon Slayer.
Okay, yeah.
This seems to be more human emotion. Demon Slayer seems to be more manufactured anime emotion, which I'm
Okay,
not.
yeah.
I use that term because I'm not really sure what to call it yet.
Yeah.
But let's talk about The Long Walk, directed by Francis Lawrence, who, by the way, did I think all but one of the Hunger Games.
Yes.
And this is very like Hunger Games esque,
Yeah.
So
Feels like it.
I can see that vibe. Sure. Yeah, I wouldn't.
very, very interesting. Of course, adaptation from the very famous Stephen King. Let's talk about some cast for a minute. Cooper Hoffman plays Ray Garrity, and David Johnson plays Peter Vicaries. Do you guys know where we saw him last?
Alien Romulus.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes, sir. You guys are correct. I thought Alien Romulus was an excellent movie. I
Alien
thought
Romulus is a good movie.
He was a very good piece of that puzzle. I'm glad
his character was
Well, he's the synth character.
Yeah, funny
right?
enough, his character was the most interesting character in my opinion.
I don't
being a robot.
A robot. I mean, him, or the very Ripley-esque character could have been, but he probably, because he had some mystery to him.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably. But let's talk about it then. Chris, lead us with the thumbs up, thumbs down.
So we're talking about The Long Walk. We're gonna give our thumbs up, thumbs down. Do you guys like the movie or not? In 3, 2, 1. What do you got? I hate your comment.
Wait a second. You give a thumbs down? Oh, there you go. Oh.
I gave a thumbs down to his comment.
Oh, okay.
I was in pure thumbs down mode.
You can't see the comments on the side of the screen.
We have a chat on the side of our screen.
Can you turn Roger's mic off for a minute?
Roger said some heinous shit over there. So.
First off, that's hilarious.
I'll read it out loud. You want me to read it? No, probably not. Let's
go right ahead.
No.
We will have Chris Pratt.
Do you guys, be honest, outside of the Judy Greer character who plays the mother, did you guys know who the Major was before it was revealed to you, or you heard someone say it?
It took me a minute to figure it out, but like when
I knew who it was.
You see, it took me like his third or fourth appearance on screen to get it, and it wasn't his appearance; it was his voice. Because I closed my eyes while I was thinking, and without seeing him, I saw the Joker, the animated Batman Joker.
Sure,
I was like, God damn, it's him.
Yep.
So yeah,
I didn't get it until the last sequence, because he says something that he said very much like in The Last Jedi. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't realize that was Mark Hamill until the last 50 seconds that he's on screen.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, that was just the whole time I was like, who the fuck is that guy? Because there's like 5 or 6 guys in my mind that could have been and that should have been cast. I'm not saying over him, but like also could have been cast, would have fit right into that universe. It was just like I just didn't expect to be Mark Hamill. But
gotcha.
Let's talk about it, guys. First thoughts, please.
I'll go first.
Yeah.
So I like this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I have a hard time telling you exactly why I liked it though. Because it really is just exactly what you think this is. So it's a group of people that are walking from point A to point B.
Mm-hmm.
And if they stop walking or go off the path, they're killed. And you would think that would be a hard thing to put on screen, but it actually kind of translates pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only thing is the only stuff that I find really memorable only takes place in like the last 20 minutes or so. And the rest of the movie just kind of doesn't matter. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I'm kind of in the middle on it, but positive overall. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. I think my initial thought, I really enjoyed the movie, and that's a weird thing to say when you think about the context of the film itself, but I enjoyed it because I love dialogue driven movies.
Well, this
is all dialogue, man. Like this movie lives and die on its acting, its voice, its line delivery, and its ability to not correctly, but like adequately convey the emotion of the message that they're trying to send. And this movie hits at like on some weird on some very specific emotional levels that are very poignant to like like some stuff going on around like time right now too. So it's like the message it's speaking and what it's trying to say, I think it's really interesting, and I think that the dialogue in this has to be good for it to be a decent film, and it does a good job, I think, with the dialogue. The characters are believable, and the time setting and the fact that it's like in a post-apocalyptic version of the United States after some sort of civil war has happened.
Something happened,
And
yeah.
like it's almost like, whenever that civil war happened, time definitely like froze for a lot of the people, and it's kind of like an old, like maybe like 70s or 80s kind of like mindset that the most of the characters you run into kind of have, in my opinion, and
Yeah.
just like their sensibilities and things like that. So I think the dialogue is interesting in this, and I like just what they were able to deliver with like the message of the movie that they're trying to get across. So I think it's effective, and I had a good time with it, even though it's not a fun ride. I had a good time. Yeah.
Well,
What about you, Grayson?
there are some things I want to say based on what you guys just said. Please don't take offense to that. I want to extend.
Yeah.
I'm not so. When I went into something like this, I had a couple of questions in my mind.
Mhm.
Do they know that the loser? Do they know there can only? Do the contestants know that there is only one winner, and everyone else, for that person to be a winner, has to be dead? Like, I wonder, do they know? Because in the trailer, we see a lot of them talking about friendship and building a bond. And I'm like, why would you want to do that with people that you either are going to have to outsmart in the next 36 hours or outperform? Why would you want that? It would just make it harder on you psychologically to do that. And I wonder, how are they going to start this movie? And for once, I'm happy that I don't generally like the approach that they took here, which is just like, okay, first frame is up, and 5 minutes later, we're in the walk. Like, there's no, I like that.
Yeah.
There was no wasted time. You just get right into it.
This movie gets going, pun intended or not. Like, it definitely
Would you say it hits the road?
The journey begins. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's better than what I said. Damn it. Damn it.
I did very much see something like this also lends itself to, going in, you're going to get the philosophical looks about life, the inward looks about, because people are going to have to make the sacrifice. We didn't get, I'll talk later about what we didn't get that I was expecting. And I was kind of surprised we didn't get it, given how some of the stories ended up playing out with some of those characters. I'll get to that in a bit. But another thing I had with going in was, I wondered because it's a very dystopian world. And of course, that doesn't that happens more than 1 year in this America. You're going to have activist group about an hour into it, kill everyone that's in the military and release all the contestants. That's what's going to happen in this America. So I wondered, how are they going to explain that away? And I don't think they ever did, except for the fact that whatever government had control over the way people could think, feel, and talk, eliminated any possibility of people doing this, of fighting back against the government, of going against. I just like, how are they going to convince me that an activist group is going to come along and just destroy this whole experiment 20 minutes in? They didn't.
The idea of this is that, like, things are hard economically. Like,
sure, and I get that.
Also, like, it's this is taken from source material, so you like the idea of when the source material came out is kind of like will tell a lot of the story of like what the kind of the mirror that is being like written about is. Like, there's the time frame in which this book was written. Questions like this were, like, there was a past that wasn't so far off, and there were times that were that weren't exactly easy during the same time too, where it wasn't signaling that that everything was going to be fine in the next few years. So like it comes like the source material itself, I think, does make sense to like why or like what came, like why this movie came about, in the way that it does and how it plays out on screen. So like I think a lot of those questions, it's not like those aren't the questions that like it's trying to address or answer or talk about, because it's there's a reason why the army uniforms are very bland. I think.
Sure.
I think the entire point was to show that like there isn't any like like sides in here. This is just like this is the way it is now, and what like the allegory that it's speaking to, I think, is more along the lines of like what people can and will put themselves through when they're desperate and when there's hope and when there's hope dangled in front of you. And I think those are the two things that like the movie's trying to speak to. And then on top of all of it, it also, I think, is talking to what people go through and like being a part of like, working class and things like that, punching into a time card, just keep on moving forward, with a repetitive thing every day until that thing is what ends up killing you in the end.
Well, and the other part of it too is this is voluntary.
Yeah.
They had to write a letter and be chosen to sign it. So this isn't like forced labor.
Yeah, but voluntary out of desperation is something that
sure, which I totally understand that, but it's not like they went and drugged somebody out of the house and be like, you have to do this, or we'll kill your family.
Yeah,
like
which is, I mean, very much Hunger Games.
Sure, yeah. Like there is no tribute system there. So these guys know what they're signing up for when they sign up.
Well, one more point on that. I think it's poignant that it's all young men. It's something that I think, because again, at the time in which the book was kind of like,
book was published in 1979.
Yeah, exactly. So like the time in which the book came out and stuff, the source material, it very much speaks to both, like, it was like 99% of the military was made up of men, and then also your working class was 95% men or 90% men or something like that at that time. So like it speaks a lot to like what what young men feel like they have to do, like for their family and stuff.
Of course.
Like that. So.
And religion too played a part, which I guess
given religion talk in this movie.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like male-dominated religion. Like, that's pretty much when it makes sense. And this is also, I think, as I understand, this was at a time before Stephen King was Stephen King. Like he was
writing under pseudonym.
Yeah, okay. I think it's important to note, though. It shows you where in his career he was when he was doing. He wasn't quite yet.
Yeah, he wasn't Stephen King yet.
Yeah,
not yet.
Which I think is quite an honor to have have one of your earlier stories then adapted at this time in your career. But yeah, sorry, Chris, go ahead.
Well, like you let's say like it was Stephen King before he was Stephen King, but if if you didn't know that he wrote this under a surname, and you look at the characters in this, there
of course
there are Stephen King isms all.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Even down to the guy looking at a porno magazine, walking down the road. 100%.
If you put me down and I watched this movie and you were like, who did the source material? I mean, like, that's definitely a Stephen King thing, like 100%. Like I get that, yeah.
Yeah, if I told you, hey, this was a book before it was a movie, who do you think the author is? It's pretty straightforward.
It's got a lot of the same ideas on a smaller scale than something like Shawshank does, or Green Mile. Then too is like freedom over enslavement is like one of those ideas that like he explores quite a bit. Stephen King. Yeah. One more thing I wanted to say though is, here's the thing about that is, the character interaction through this whole film, I'm not quite sure I bought. And I think that's a major thing, because I gave it a thumbs up and I do believe it deserved a thumbs up. But certain things I don't know if a lot of these stories, and I'm saying because there's 50 of them, one contestant from each state, so I will say stories. I don't think a lot of the stories play out the way they do if everyone who joined up was, as the movie tries to sell it, as economically desperate.
Well,
I don't think desperate people help other desperate people.
Well, I don't know. You asked early on about like how, like why people would become friends with somebody that they know is gonna, not like, most likely not make it. Like how are you gonna be friends with people that are just gonna be dead? But like,
you got to beat them. So in order for you to beat them, they have to be dead. So why would you want to make it harder for yourself? I'm saying.
Yeah, but socially, people, and especially young men, we have this inherent need to bond.
Yep.
We're tribal, right? So like you get 50 guys in a room, there will be friendships made by 50 guys that don't know each other. Those like you're going to,
they will pair off the group.
Yeah, and they will find things that they mesh with, and they will become buds in those moments. They may never talk to each other again once they separate, but in those moments, when they started talking to when they leave, like those, they're going to get along and be pals. It's just the way that young men work.
One thing to think about too, and this is how a lot there are two ways to think about this. Okay, one is, if we are friends, we're not necessarily against each other.
Mm-hmm.
We're against the system.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's a big running thing throughout this, right? Especially in the last few minutes where you really find out a little bit more about the
Yeah.
walk itself. But if you look at it in a more modern sense, right, about alliances and groups, think about the show Survivor.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is, and it's not necessarily a timely reference, but it is still something that is still going on, still active, and still very popular. All those people, only one person wins.
Yeah.
And they will be allied to the end. It absolutely works that way when there's a competition like that. Now, they're not necessarily killed, obviously, but you don't get anything else if you don't win Survivor besides being on the show itself.
There's one phrase that undoes everything you just said, only because there's a producer involved and the story is written long before the season starts. I promise you.
Well, okay, but
So-
I mean, here's the like,
But the game itself is very real.
Sure. I understand, but like that's a major difference in how that works.
I think the example still stands because again, this isn't the game isn't what's unique here.
Yeah, two people can't win.
Yeah. Yeah, like the walk that's happening isn't the thing that's being explored. It's the relationships that are created, and in my opinion, my viewpoint is like they're very possible like things that would actually flourish in this situation.
Well, sure,
because,
sure.
You know, it's hard to walk with your fellow man in hardship, the same hardship, and not bond over that in some way, shape, or form. It's again, we're tribal. It's very hard to not go through something with somebody, whether you put yourself there or not, and you're against each other or not, and not find reasons why. You know, like, oh, you know, like we have this in common, or hey, you know, we can talk about this, or hey, you know, like this, that, or the other. It's just how things go naturally, which is why the movie's interesting, because they do present you with people that are very different, and they find small ways where like they become connected. We have the whole Three Musketeers thing, quote unquote.
Four Musketeers.
Yeah, we have four Musketeers, and then like, you know, even on top of that, you have people that weren't inside of that 4-man group that eventually worked their way in. People that were diametrically opposed, and like different people being diametrically opposed. They find out even through accident, just over time, they've become meshed as like this solid group, and like they didn't even mean to. You know what I mean?
Just happened,
and it's like that's an interesting thing to explore on screen, because it's something that it's a very uniquely human thing, where like, you know, even against one another, you'll find ways to bond, or you'll find ways to no longer be purely enemies in those kinds of situations.
I don't know if it's uniquely human. I think it might be unique to life on this planet. I don't think it's uniquely human though, because like animals will do that too. Well, they'll all cuddle up together and sleep, even though they're mortal enemies. Like birds and cats will sometimes, like I've seen videos where like on cold days they will sleep together for the body heat, but in any other circumstance, that cat would absolutely hunt that bird and kill it. You know what I mean? Like it's an odd thing, but I think that might be human. Strictly human is not a bad way to put it. I think it's strictly life on this planet might be a better way to go about it.
Well, I think one other thing too is it just a boredom factor, right?
Yeah.
Could you imagine like if you wanted to like lone wolf this thing? Because technically you could.
Yeah.
Could you imagine just starting walking with a group of 50 people and never talking to any of them? Like, how deep into your own head would you have to be?
Yeah.
And how long is before somebody in your head starts talking back to you? Because I mean, like, here's the thing, and like without a spoiler, like these guys walk a couple of 100 miles, which is impressive in itself.
By itself, yeah.
But like during that whole time, to never drop below 3 miles an hour, and to never speak. Oh my God!
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot going on upstairs, or absolutely nothing going on upstairs.
They walk for like 5 days or something like that, right?
Like 4.5, 5 days. Yeah,
five and some change. Yeah,
it's a lot. That's a long time to walk.
Well, but again, it's like I don't know. I've not been in that situation. I just don't know how that would play out, given the circumstance of death versus not death. Because I just, why would you want to help people survive longer when they have to be dead for you to win? I keep coming back to that question, and I don't think the movie ever fully answered it. I think the movie offered me answers, but it wasn't the answer that I think was definitive.
In fairness, not everyone thinks that way, though. It's a very few people that are willing to even like entertain the notion
Of walking together.
from the onset in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, I get
And-
that. And the ending, the last two demonstrates beautifully the bond that occurs could force that outcome.
Yeah.
Force an outcome that's very similar to that. And I think also it's like, I mean, I know it might be a stretch, but I think even like the movie did somewhat comment on, like, you get a group of, like you were talking about, Chris, a group of 50 guys together, even in like a social setting, or even in like war, you put 50 troops that don't know each other, that are forced into the situation where they have to fight as a unit. They will be very close very soon, because they have to be. And like, I
Go
just
to
think
a bar.
very
Yeah.
Band of Brothers ish, very like World War II ish, like, you know what I mean, like kind of like that, which I think is
There's a famous World War II trench story where there was an American group and a German group that were on opposite sides.
that played
of,
soccer or
of a
played
trench,
football.
and and they played a sport in the late evening and nighttime, together. It was like,
First World War,
and, and then in the morning they were enemies again. It's like it's something, it's a strange phenomenon, and I think this movie kind of shows you glimpses of like that kind of interpersonal relationship that people can find themselves into. And this is all very philosophical for a rated R film where people get shot in the face on screen.
Well,
so
I have one more philosophical thing too to put in perspective about how I feel about when you would bond with people you don't know. You guys ever had the pleasure of going to a bar and being like the one or two or three people there?
Yeah, of course.
How long is it before you talk to one of the other bar people though?
Not long. Minutes.
It's really not.
Yeah.
Like if I sit down like just at a regular bar, and the bar's got 12 stools, and I sit down and there's a guy 3 or 4 down from me and there's nobody else there.
Mhm.
It's not 5 minutes before I'm like, hey man, what's up?
Yeah.
Like you just do that.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know why. It's like, you don't have to.
No.
I can be very unpersonable if I want to, but like, you just do it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's boredom or just the need to like, hey, I need to talk to this guy I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, what's your deal, man?
Yeah.
Or like, or if you sat there the whole time talking to a bunch of other people and that guy didn't say nothing, like, wouldn't you find that more weird? Like,
Yeah.
that dude didn't say, like,
well, like Chris said, we're pack animals. We
Social
want to be
creatures,
with
man.
we want to be with others.
We're also curious creatures.
Yeah, we are.
You know what I mean? Like, like wanting to know everybody's wish, what they do with the money. Like,
Sure.
Like, those are all questions that would be on your mind if you're in the
I know what
situation.
I would do with it. What would you do with it?
Yeah,
I got to
yeah.
know what you want to
Yeah.
do, because
Like,
maybe it's
well,
better than
that's
what I want to do.
That's exactly the conversation we get is,
Yeah.
But how many
Yeah.
times, let's use Roger's scenario with the bar, how many people, of all the million, let's just narrow down to this country, like what, 350 million people in this country?
Sure.
How many friendships, good friendships, started because there was two guys at the bar, maybe 3 stools down from, and no one else. It was like whatever, that kind of day or night, afternoon, whatever.
Shit happens all the time, dude.
And one guy orders a Bud Light, the other guy orders like a Keystone or something that's a lot lesser than and you're like, a Keystone, really? And then like 20 minutes later, they're best buds talking about a sport or a video game or something. It's just a lot. I'm sure millions of friendships have started in a very similar situation.
Yep.
So that's, again,
Especially if you see that guy a couple of days later, be like, hey man, what's up?
Yeah.
Like, because now like, I know your name.
Yep.
Like, well, yeah, I get you.
And then that's the guy who's like, he thinks he's buddy with you, and he starts talking about how much he loves Mein Kampf, and you're like, okay.
Yeah, when I find out, in this area, when I find out how deeply racist that he is.
Oh.
All right, buddy, maybe I misjudged you. Back off, please.
All right, man, I'm gonna buy you a drink, and you're gonna fuck off.
So let's talk about some other aspects here of.
Yeah.
This is one of those movies to me, like, it's like Phone Booth to me, where there's, I mean, I don't want to say there's one setting, but there is one setting. It's like, it's just
Kind
a
of.
road and
Okay.
they walk.
So
I appreciate the simplicity of that.
So let me ask you, comparing it to Phone Booth, is the road the phone booth, or is the game the phone booth to you?
The road.
I think it's
The road?
it's the setting, it's the physical place that's trapped them, because they can't leave the road or they're dead.
Yeah. Okay,
So
gotcha.
I think the road is the right answer to the question, although the game isn't a wrong answer.
Yeah. I was just curious on the way you saw that, because the movie itself, like, the movie starts out fast,
Yep.
which I appreciated. This movie gets right into it. and the movie starts out strong in my opinion in the fact that like it does a good job of showing you just enough, getting you curious just enough in your characters, in in the thing that's going to be opposing them. But the movie does this thing where it starts almost lighthearted, like a bunch of young kids getting together and
buddy comedy
and being in some sort of contest together, and then when the first death happens,
what is it, 15 minutes into the movie somebody gets shot in the face?
yeah, when the first death happens at like the 18-minute mark, which the deaths in this are pretty
graphic.
There's a reason why this thing's rated R. It's not for the language, I promise you.
Well, I mean, there's plenty of language though.
Plenty of language.
There's plenty of language though.
I think the language they could have got
They
away.
could have toned it down.
They could have got away with a PG-13, I think, with a couple of adjustments. The deaths on screen are gruesome, but like this movie seems very lighthearted until that first death happens, and then the tone changes for the rest of the film. And I think that was a brilliant choice by whoever set that up, because like that's when to all of them it became very real.
Yep.
And as a movie watcher, that's when you're like, and here we go. And that's when the opening title hit happens too.
Yeah.
It
Long
takes
walk,
18 like minutes for it to hit screens, like
title card.
And it's like, and now we're here. And it's like, oh, that's a cool thing.
Are you telling me then that you didn't enjoy the fun ride of the guy getting his legs ran over by the tank?
Oh, dude, that one was tough.
It's brutal, man. It's all brutal, but that's let me add just a little.
I love that he's laying there with his legs completely mangled and
they're
smashed.
still counting down.
And you're like, 23 second warning. It's like, holy shit, dude.
Well, like,
final warning.
I think it's well done and just gruesome that as they're getting further away, his screams are getting louder in the speakers. Yeah. Because he's just in more and more pain and terror. You know what I mean? Because of what has happened. But it's like, yeah, that one was a tough one. That was a tough one.
I thought that we were gonna have to deal with something like, because it seemed to be when they defined the rules, when the major was reading the rules in the beginning, I was like, okay, this is great because we're getting like John Wick rules. Like you don't break the rules of the Continental or you pay the price. So I thought we were gonna get, what if there's a scenario where they're all bunched and the wrong person is shot and he's penalized because he can't move, but it's not his fault. I wanted like, ooh, that's an interesting scenario. We never got that. That was one of the things I'm surprised we never got. Now, that might not be in the book, and that's me inserting what I wanted into the movie.
Yeah.
But in a movie with this premise, I assume that would be in there.
Normally, I bust your balls for doing things like that, but I understand that. Yeah.
I mean, at that point, like I think the rules are the rules, because I think that's why when the one guy gets run over by the tank treads and they count down still, because that's the rule, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like if they're going to if these boys are going to volunteer to give their lives for this, and they're going to take their lives for this contest, like I guarantee you, like strict adherence to the rules is like the military's number one priority. You know what I mean? Because like it's like if we're going to take lives, this needs to be 100% by whatever book we've set. So like he's mangled and he's going to die, but we're going to count down still because he didn't break a rule. He broke his leg. That one kid's ankle gets twisted. You know what I mean?
Dude, his foot's all fucked up.
Yeah, it's more than twisted. He's walking on a stump while his foot's not a stump yet, and it's like and they just like, that's not that kid's fault. It sucks that his body gave out that way, but it's like, now we have to, now we're going to count down.
Was that
hardness? Because what if he pulls through? You know what I mean? It's like
I don't quite see it like that. I don't, because like that wasn't the scenario I brought up. Was they created like the major and his men created the imbalance. That's a scenario. I'm like, you can't penalize someone if they didn't do anything wrong. But
I'm saying is
the ankle isn't. That's not the same scenario.
What I'm saying is that if they created the imbalance, they would still kill him.
Yep.
Oh, I'm no doubt down. Given the movie, but like I wondered how they're gonna. This is me asking questions from the trailer. I wonder how they're gonna approach this and this and this.
Yeah.
I think though too, when it comes to the rules though, think about when the guy from the Dakotas, Collie, when he grabs the gun, and shoots the guy, okay, and they immediately shoot him back multiple times in the stomach, and he doesn't die immediately.
Yep.
They don't execute him.
No.
They put him on his timer, and then they kill him.
Nor do they execute Hank either. Olsen.
No. Yeah. Well, they didn't kill him. He kills himself, right?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Well,
But that's what I mean. Like they didn't gun him down for it.
And they weren't going to because they mentioned that it's part of the rules.
Mm-hmm.
If you attack anybody, they shoot you in the guts and they let you bleed out.
Yep.
That's like a part of their rules because they don't want anyone to ever go against the rules of the games.
Yeah.
That's why they did it to the other guy too. They did the same thing to him.
Yeah.
Did you guys get the impression that there were more than just the guys following in front of the convoy? Like there was more military presence around to deter.
Oh, there has to be. Yeah.
Well, but like
at least a little bit.
Well, fine, there has to be, but we were never shown that. I never got the impression. None of it.
Yeah, no. They never give you hints to that.
So,
but like my logical brain thinks that there's probably a convoy that's picking up the dead bodies as they're going. That's further behind and making sure no one comes up behind the procession, and then there's people ahead making sure the roads are clear.
You're telling me though that every year 50 kids get involved in this, 50 sets of parents potentially every year that don't go to local militias and be like, hey, we're going to put an end to this right now. The major dies today.
A, it's voluntary. B, a civil war was already fought and one side lost, so there's not going to be a lot of militias left when it's a civil war.
Oh, France was overrun in 2 weeks, but they put up a resistance for years. I mean, it's that kind of thing.
Yeah, but they've been doing this for a long time, so it's
it's like the 19th year or something, he says, right?
And as you can see with the flashback to him and his dad, when the thing happens to his dad, they're in like a weird like walled community. Like if you like, there are those weird like military put up walls in the background. A lot of this is going to be controlled, I think, by
fair.
This is very oppressive state stuff.
Yeah, like they're not like, man, your freedoms are back. No, this doesn't feel like that.
No.
So,
the Hunger Games is a good thing to
compare it
to though, because you were like, well, why didn't they raise up before? Well, maybe they did, and that shit was put right back down, and now their kids are being punished. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's not necessarily quite at that level of the children being punished because it is still, as far as we know, voluntary.
Yeah.
But like, there's a reason why they don't go at it. Like, this is what you signed up for.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that. I'm asking all these questions because it seems foolish not to cover the angles in this time when you have the budgets to do those things. It would have just taken one line of dialogue to just put my question to sleep forever.
Yeah, but there's certain things that like it's when we talk about other things that are ambiguous. Sometimes it makes more sense for things to be like self-inserted by how you think it is instead of having that answer. And sometimes it hurts not having that answer too at the same time for like different people. But sometimes just like in a monster movie, when you finally get to see your monster at the end, it's the thing you have in your head is a more interesting story.
It's underwhelming.
Yeah, it's sometimes you finally get to the end of The Conjuring and Last Rites, and the spinning mirror isn't quite as creepy as it was until that point.
But spinning mirror was creepy.
Yeah, we know. But like,
shut up, leave me alone.
It's sometimes that story you have in your head is what's more interesting. So like letting some of those things be untold or unanswered kind of lets you just fill in that weird horrific blank yourself. And it's probably, it could be better than whatever would have been written. So I think that's a fair thing for it to do. The most interesting part of those are just details that are nice to have, though. The most interesting part of this is the characters and the relationships.
Sure.
And what they go through, and the fact that somehow through all this, like you said, Grace, and unbelievably so, like there are friendships that are made, and the real friendships. Like I was waiting for the other shoe to drop the whole time with some of the characters we have. It's like all right, when's this guy really going to prove that he's a piece of shit and blah blah blah, and like it never happens.
He never does it.
Yeah, and it's like it's interesting. Also, for some of the characters that you're meant to hate, which are easy to hate, which you do hate, for all those existing, not a single person was sabotaged by anybody. One person is kind of
verbally bullied. Yeah,
like someone's kind of at fault, you could say, for someone else dying. At the same time, someone else reacted, and that's their fault for being stupid.
Yeah.
Like it's like no one in this competition of 50 guys sabotages another one.
Yeah,
it's all self-inflicted, or their body breaks down, or they're just not able to do it.
Just can't do it.
And like that's I thought that was like because the cheap thing is waiting for that one guy to be an asshole, and like he's like throwing pebbles in front of people, making
Tripping
people trip,
somebody, yeah.
like, and it's nighttime, you can't see him, and like some guy trips somebody, like none of that happens. It's all
comes up behind him and stabs him or something.
It's all environmental and by everyone's own self perseverance that they passed through this.
But the one guy is very repentant too. When they start calling him a killer, he's like, "I didn't mean for that to happen," and which I believe. Here's the thing: I believe that's accurate. You know, like he meant to mess with that guy. Yes, he did.
Yes.
Did he think it was going to lead to that kid being killed? No, but it certainly did.
Yeah.
Well, it's very biblical. Is you do something awful and then you live with the guilt, even though you don't think you're guilty, you are, and you live with it. That's also very kind of religious, biblical,
or you
which
don't.
I did enjoy.
Well, it eats at him because he does feel.
Well, I mean, a couple of them. Let's talk about Cooper Hoffman's Raymond Garrity, the protagonist.
Ray and Pete, baby.
We kind of have like a dual, I'm more comfortable saying that Ray and Pete were the protagonists rather than Ray as the protagonist. And then, I mean, we do get more time with Ray only because literally he's on screen for longer and he's the focus in the first couple minutes. But I wouldn't turn away an argument that says Peter's
Pete
also
is an equal. I think Pete's an equal character.
Of course,
sure.
I like the dichotomy between these two. Given the fact that it's America and the obvious dichotomy there, it's that is better when the Brotherhood is formed. It's also they have very different yet similar reasons for wanting to do what they're doing, and for the win, they have very similar but different reasons too. For at least for my part, when we finally learn, because they're ribbing him for several minutes because everyone says like what they want the prize to be, and they give you a cash prize for winning this, and they give you like a what's the thing called?
A wish.
What's it called when the kids when they have like a Make-A-Wish Foundation? Like they grant it, and they have to grant it within their full capacity to grant the wish. So when
like
we
the
finally
Dragon Balls.
Yes. Exactly like the Dragon Balls, Roger. You are correct. Is like in Dark Knight Rises. I know it's really awful when in the film when like a third of the way through, Michael Caine's like, I want to go to a cafe, have a coffee, look across the way, see you sitting there with a beautiful woman, and you've made it out of Gotham. You're free. Well, that's exactly how it ends. So when he said his thing, I was like, oh, please tell me the movie's not gonna do that. Please, for all that is holy, tell me that we will not get that ending.
It didn't. Spoiler. It does not.
We do. I mean, I'm angry because we didn't deviate from what I thought we were going to get.
I mean, it doesn't exactly work out the way.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I'm not surprised by the way it ended, but
no, given
I can't say that before the movie started that I saw that going down the way that it did.
Yeah,
I definitely won't say that.
Yeah.
Well, no, but when I learned Ray's wish, that's when I was fearful, because coming from Stephen King's a good writer. He knows how to twist in the angles, and I was like, okay, well, that hopefully we don't get that, because that's not a twist. That's not a Stephen King twist or a brilliant story note in a Stephen King novel. It's not that.
No, it's a pretty linear book.
Well,
literally.
So were you guys not disappointed by how this movie ends? I don't want to spoil it, but like, were you not disappointed by how this movie ends?
I'm not disappointed by the fact that the wish that was talked about happens. I'm not disappointed by that at all. I'm not even disappointed about the ending. What I am about the ending is like for how good this movie is, like, to me, all the way up until the last like 3 minutes of it. The last 3 minutes kind of just happens.
Yeah.
And like, I think that's my only problem with it, is just that, but I think it's a difficult ending to write, to write for a movie. I think that most likely the way that the movie ends on screen probably ends better in a book. Like, the written format is probably a better way to tell that ending, because you get to know what's going on in the minds of at least one person that's happening at the time. Maybe multiple. It depends on how it's written, because I've never read the book. But like, I'm sure that ending crescendos much better when you're reading the book than it does on screen because it's just so hard to convey all those complexities
I could see that.
a book can deliver to you in that way.
Well, it's easier in a book to show multiple things happening at one time.
Yeah. Whereas
Definitely.
like in this, like we get to a certain point, some things happen very quickly, and then all of a sudden, like we're looking at a scenario that's like, huh, I wonder if it's gonna happen. Oh,
It happens.
it happens, and then like that's kind of it, and it's like, huh. So like the movie's a little bit has some deflation at the very end of it, but it's not until the very end, because everything leading up to that point, I was strapped in, man. You know what I mean? Like like the movie does a very good job of making me care about making me care about most of the characters all the way through, even ones that I didn't like, or I'm
Like come in later, basically.
or like you're put against, like to root against at certain points, and then in like by the end of it, you're like, oh, all right, when they made me understand this guy's plight or this guy's problem, or like
his motivation.
make me feel bad, like make me feel connected in some way. Like the movie does all that very well all the way through. Just the ending is, like I said, it just seems a little bit difficult to maybe convey on screen compared to like what it was probably written as.
I think the one thing for me is I don't necessarily think the ending is the greatest ending.
Mm-hmm.
I think the last 20 minutes are by far the best part of this movie.
Like the further you get, the more
when we get to the bridge at night on
Mm-hmm.
the last part of the movie, like
it's like the last 10 minutes, brother.
Wait, hold on. Bridge being defined as when we learn what the purpose of one character being there is.
Yeah. I think from that point forward is like the best parts of the movie.
That's like the last 7 minutes.
Yeah, sure. 10 minutes, fine.
Yeah.
But like to me, like that's where everything really starts to culminate, because like you can tell like we're getting to the end of this.
Oh,
like people are, we're down to a very small group, but I won't say who. And like people are still trickling down, and like you understand what's going to happen. And like I think that works. Like I think it sets up tension that's not necessarily supposed to be there, but you see it from another character, like why they're there, and it adds that little bit more complexity to it. And I think it's great.
I mean, I never thought that the line "do me, motherfuckers" would be cool.
Yeah,
but like in that moment, I was like, "All right, brother."
Well, so even at the point when they're yelling at the major, they're like, "Fuck the major!" It's like, "Fuck the walk," and the major's like, "That's the sack, boys. That's how you do it. That's how you do it for your country."
He talks a lot about sacks.
Yeah, he does love to bring up sack. Which, I mean, it's as tropey as it is. It's in that little moment, it works.
Yeah, it does.
And I think that's pretty good. Like I don't have much else to say, because like if you really dive into this, it gets really spoilery really quickly. And, like for having such a small cast, I don't want to like break down anybody's motivation.
Oh yeah, I get that too. But like Grayson, what other things do you have?
May I add to what Roger just said about? So
sure.
Things that inherently, now I've never read the book.
Nope.
Only the trailer.
I don't think any of us have, right?
No.
I don't. So I'm going off of only when I heard the questions I had in my head when I watched it. I wrote down some of them. Is okay. Well, in this thing, obviously, this is going to be a kind of a draft situation, which it kind of was, kind of wasn't. They volunteered, but they kind of had to volunteer. So someone brought up, is that really volunteering? I don't know, but I thought for sure. Now we got a lot of death witnessed from like our characters. Or like we're here with the camera and our characters are here in the foreground, and then we see the execution way back in the background. We see a lot of,
or up in front,
in the beginning, we see a lot of like right there, but then like we get the further and further away executions as the movie goes on, because it's like it's weighing on their mind. I like to think there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
What I thought we were going to get is someone who maybe couldn't find their courage in the beginning and was so scared to be part of this. He absolutely wanted nothing to do with it, wouldn't make any friends with them. And then I expected, it just didn't exactly play out like I expected someone when they had, maybe 6 or less, someone to do the rounds and maybe share a little bit about himself to the group, say, you know what, my mom lives here. I need someone, whatever one of you wins, something. You got to give her something. Tell her I didn't die. I didn't die a coward. And I thought when then the guy who couldn't find his courage, for example, I thought we were going to cut away from the group the one time that we would, and we would see him staring right down the barrel of the rifle. Like he found his courage and he's going to look death right in the eye and not flinch. I was like, okay, that's a given. Didn't happen. Is it a slight against Francis Lawrence? Maybe. Is it it's not in the book, so they can't put it in? I don't know. I'm assuming there are a lot of differences here, and there are a lot of differences in a lot of adaptions in a lot of books from page to screen for sure. I also thought we were going to get. I'm glad we didn't get a coordinated, and I don't mean for this to be a spoiler in a weird way, but I'm glad we didn't get like a coordinated escape attempt because, like last week,
I don't think I would have fit the movie, honestly.
I think we talked about the Bone Temple trailer last week where I was like, oh, it's looking like a lot like The Walking Dead. And I don't like that direction. It's like, I give this movie props for not going in that direction because that's where most of them would have gone is, well, you have a stupid escape attempt. A lot of people are going to die. And that is how they're going to thin out numbers. Not like an incredibly arduously long hill with a not so steep grade that
half of you were going to die here on this hill
on the first night. Yeah.
Well, they needed a way to thin out the herd for us to get more in depth with a few characters. They needed a way to thin out that herd. But we didn't get a lot of some of the deaths that I thought we were going to get. Now that's just me inserting myself a little bit, but I was like, well, this is Stephen King. There is a certain level of sophistication I want because I know it's there.
It's crazy that you say that, and then we got someone who is literally shitting their brains out until they died.
Yep.
See, that question is like, what do they expect these kids to do at the bathroom? Like, what do they expect them to do?
Exactly what some of them did, or all of them did.
Yep.
Drop.
They don't even
drop
get
drawers. Drop drawers. Drop shit and pinch it off.
Keep moving.
Keep going.
Run and catch back up.
Yep.
Sometimes you can't just pinch it off, man. Sometimes you take a magazine with you, and I just don't.
You take that kid's porno mag he's walking with.
You just pass it on as you die. You just give it to the next person. But
I want to will this to you.
I did like how we get Peter turning around just peeing. We don't see it, but like, how else would you do it? Like, no, that's exactly how to do it.
I think after a while, though, legitimately, you would just start peeing your pants.
Well,
you wouldn't even stop. You wouldn't even slow down anymore.
Yeah. Well, eventually you're going to be so worn down and you're going to eat and drink so little that like you
stop peeing too.
Yeah, you're not going to really do that.
Well, wait. They got water whenever they asked for it.
But still your body is going to be on such low energy reserves.
Yeah. You just don't filter it as much anymore.
And the paste food they had, that was like a paste thing, right? Like meant to give a little bit of energy. But okay, but they also got, someone said that they can get more of that whenever they wanted to.
Yeah.
But that can keep you going for quite some time.
Yeah. 100%.
Well, here's the thing: if you're not walking consistently and not sleeping for 4.5 to 5 days, you could last a long time with those rations.
Yeah. So, like, I have two more things I want to touch on. One quick one, one medium one.
All right.
I don't know why I thought this before they hit that hill on the first night. I was like waiting for when they were all going to stop and sleep for the night.
So was I. I was like, when are they going to get a break?
Okay, I understand that. Sure.
Like, I thought like after okay, do they do this after 12 hours of walking? 14, 16 hours of walking? Like,
if they never once get a single rest.
Yeah, like I was thinking, I was like, when do they all stop? When does the general say, "Good job on day one, boys. Get your sleep. You'll need it tomorrow." Like, I was waiting for that moment, and then when they all die walking up the hill, and then it's just morning again, I went, "Oh, they don't sleep." That's different. Like, I was
the game. That's the competition.
I was shocked. I was like, okay, I didn't see that coming. So like, silly me for thinking.
You learned something today.
I did. So like, that was cool because like I was definitely subverted in that expectation. The other thing is there is a speech that happens just like a little bit past the halfway point in this between like the two main characters. There's like
Pete and Ray.
Yeah, there's a breakdown that Pete's having. And he really goes in one direction with like his thought process and his rebellious like nature on why he's here and what he thinks of everybody. And then Pete has his rebuttals for him. I thought that speech was worth every bit of the price of admission to this movie. I thought that was just a fantastic moment in the movie, and like just the big props to it. I thought that was such a good. Like, again, a movie full of dialogue and it lives on it has to have good dialogue. And like that was like the piece that stood out amongst all of it. And like I really appreciated like that moment in the movie. So I just wanted to highlight that as like something to point out.
Does have strong dialogue.
on the week that you say you love a movie that's dialogue driven, also came out was Downton Abbey, and Downton Abbey is 100% dialogue driven.
Yeah.
So you also had no desire to watch that though. I wonder why, because that fills the criteria.
Yeah. Well, I said earlier when we were talking about it, that timestamp, if you guys skipped it, went to this, good conversation. That I've watched a season of the show and I enjoy the fact that it's a dialogue heavy show. I like the one season of the show I watched. I just have no desire for the subject matter that is Downton Abbey.
Okay, fair. That's what.
Yeah.
And so, also with that is, it's also very topical. I'm glad you brought it up. I wasn't quite sure I was going to, but I'm glad it's very topical for the time in which we live.
Oh yeah.
It's also very like I can fall back on it's also very Hunger Games ish, so I can fall back on that. It's also very, like,
it applies to a lot of situations.
Well, so that speech is topical in a lot of time frames. A lot of eras in our country.
Which again, this book being written in the late 70s, I think highlights how topical that like that speech can be, right? Because like when this book was written, like it was talking about whatever was currently in the minds at that time, but it's such a universal truth to the way that that people are and the way that situations can be perceived that it can resonate 40, 50 years later, right? So it's like I think that's a very, that's how it's good dialogue. That's how it's it's a good piece within its work. So yeah, it's a good call.
Yep. Nice.
I would agree. So let's just, as we move into like the final thoughts of this, anything you guys want to say? What do you guys want to say before we wrap it up?
I'll say, so like, I like this movie overall. It's not exactly the most fun thing to watch, but I think it's a pretty good movie. I was pleased with it. So
yeah,
it was better than it ends a lot better than how I thought it started. Because I was concerned at the beginning. I was like, this is kind of corny. And then you get to the scene right before the title card and things change. So things change dramatically. So
well, just like for the boys, it became real. You know what I mean? So yeah. So I mean, I think I kind of second that, where like in a movie that is going to live or die by its dialogue, I think this movie does do a good job. I think this movie is. I think a 7 out of 10 is where I'd put it. Like it does what it needs to do within its space. It's interesting all the way through. I think the ending probably, sticking somehow better, I think would be what would elevate it. But like, I love the journey that this takes you on. It is a hard watch though, and I don't know if you're ready for a gruesome, squeamish couple of scenes, some good dialogue and a lot of sack talk. This is gonna be a good one, I think,
and a lot of walking.
How far do you think you guys could walk if you were forced to? How far?
Now or my prime?
Whenever.
I think I got to have the right shoes nowadays.
Sure.
I'd probably be able to. I think I could go 10 before I'd be like,
with a comment like that, Chris, you're a lot older than you think you are.
End it now.
I mean, I think the thing would really be like if you could figure out like how long you could physically stay awake. Like that's a real.
Staying awake's not the problem for me.
It is until you've been walking for 12 hours straight.
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah.
I don't know, man. That hill probably kill most of us. I'm just saying. Like, if you made it that far, there's a reason to say half of you going to die here tonight.
Yep.
Because it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
Well, I could go I'm a big walker. Through 2024, my goal was 70 miles a week that I met almost every week of that year. So, I mean, it's at least according to my Apple Watch.
Did you make it to 250?
No, I didn't. But my goal was 70 a week. So I mean, I tried to do at least 10 a day, and 2024 was a very productive walking year for me. 2025 has not been that for me.
This guy thinks he'd win it.
I don't think I can win it because I don't
wish me.
I don't have to tell you.
All right, shut us down.
Well, final thoughts. I enjoyed this quite a bit. I think there's a lot of explanation that they left out. However, I will kind of go on the opposite side of you, Roger. I think this movie started a lot stronger than it ended with as far as the setup. I just don't think the ending. I think the ending isn't as strong as the movie suggested the setup could have been for the ending. I think the ending was kind of a cop-out ending. And I don't know what the book is. Maybe they changed it. Maybe they didn't. I think there's more depth to the ending in the book. I would imagine there's a lot more depth to say there. But even with what we got, what could have been used by seeing the open road with the rain in front of him and no longer being forced, but doing it anyway. Like, I can see that being like on paper, someone's like, yeah, that's super, super great way to end it. But I don't think it came off that way. If that was kind of the common around the writing room, like, yeah, that seems like a good ending for that. Is I understand there's a lot more poetic going on there. I know that's why I'm trying not to spoil it, but
I think I think a movie like this, the journey is going to be more interesting than the destination. I mean, that's just the nature of what we're watching.
That's Lord of the Rings, man. That's the journey is way more important than destination, of course. But I thought it was good. I'm appalled that it did such a low box office. Being Stephen King, being something that I thought people would have been into, is like, oh, let's go check that out. It's dystopian America. That looks cool. Let's go. I'm losing faith.
Too close to home.
Yeah.
Well, for a lot of people that might be, and the setup of where they chose to walk through, like some of those desolate and destroyed abandoned towns in America, like, yeesh.
That it's real close to home for some.
Sure. Real close to where, maybe the Ohio, some parts of the Ohio Valley for sure, but absolutely. But I thought it's a good movie that I don't think people are going to see. And it's just, I think it'll fade away in 3 weeks. You'll never hear anything about The Long Walk ever again. And I think that's a shame.
Yeah.
Because
it is.
It's a well-made, a well-crafted movie by Francis Lawrence, who, by the way, I mean, he made The Hunger Games pretty good. I mean, those movies are all very solid movies.
It's just a movie that definitely doesn't feel like a must-see unless you're interested in what the trailer gives you. Because, like, think of it this way: we almost didn't watch this.
True.
You know what I mean? We almost missed it.
Well, only because
something else was out that could have been more important or more interesting to watch, right?
Sure.
Right?
It's not lack of interest. It's lack of time able to cover on the show. That's.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is three assholes on the internet watch movies every single week, and we almost didn't watch it. You know what I mean? Whereas people that don't have the time or the money or go and see movies all that often, you got to be pulled right in to go see it. So I mean, I can see it. Just not hitting the right amount of people at the right time. It's timing some of it.
I do wonder what the budget for this was, because the budget couldn't have been astronomical. There wasn't a lot of. I mean, it's a lot of outside shots.
A lot of outside shots. With a lot of rural country roads getting shut down for a couple hours and shooting a whole bunch of scenes.
Roger, did you happen to grab a budget for this bad boy?
$20 million.
That's not terrible. I mean, it only opened at 11, and it doesn't have a foreign box office yet. So
only got to clear 50 to be profitable.
When you open at 11, clearing 50 might be a problem.
Yeah, but it hasn't been worldwide yet.
Yep.
So,
anyway, we'll see. But thank you guys for joining us for this discussion of Post Credits Podcast, episode 47. 47 indeed.
Almost my daughter's favorite number.
What is her daughter's favorite number?
My youngest daughter's favorite number is 49.
Why is it 49? Do you know why?
Because there's 7 colors in the rainbow, and 7 times 7 is 49. So 7 rainbows would be better than 1.
But you know what?
That's true.
That logic
7 times better. I get it. Approximately 7 times more.
Remember Ricky Snicky, the dog? There were 7 of them. Yes, indeed. That does it for us in episode 47 of Post Credits Podcast, a show where we are lucky enough to talk about movies with you. If you listen to this episode on an audio-only service, such as Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Podbean, feel free to head over to YouTube. Check us out there. Don't forget to subscribe and to hit the like button. I almost messed that one up. Turn us on while you're doing whatever. We have a very somewhat viral clip with Sasquatch, Bigfoot in there.
Big feet.
Bigfoot. Again, thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next week for a big, bold, beautiful journey.
That's not what we're talking about.
Unfortunately, it's
cut them off right there.
Just end it. Just click.